welcome to another episode of The Experimental Homesteader. I'm Sheri Ann Richerson, your host, and today I'm going to show you a very simple way to make cheese. And if you're raising cows or goats on your farm or homestead, you know you've always got an excess of milk. You can put that milk in the freezer. You need to cool it first, and then as soon as it's cooled, you need to dump it in half-gallon jars. Don't fill them all the way up because you need room for it to expand. Put a plastic cap on them, set the half-gallon jars in 2-gallon freezer bags, and put them in the bottom of your deep freeze. And this way you can make cheese year-round whenever you're ready to use it. And this is how you do it. You get a gallon container of any kind. You can use an old milk jug. You can use a glass container, however it is you want to do it. You can use your canning jars. And you simply pour the milk after it's measured into a stainless steel pan. Okay? And what you're going to do then is, when the milk is in the pan, you're going to take it to the stove, you're going to put it on medium heat, stirring constantly, and you're going to bring this milk up to the temperature of 125 degrees. Now, if the temperature goes a little bit higher, that's okay. You're going to have a drier cheese, but you don't want it to go too much higher. Okay, once you've brought your milk up to 125 degrees, you want to put in a 1/4 cup of plain white vinegar per gallon of milk. I have 2 gallons of milk in here, and so I'm going to put in a 1/2 cup, and you want to pour this in very slowly and stir it. The idea is to get the vinegar as mixed into the milk as you can without over stirring the milk, because the more you stir the curds, the tougher they're going to get. Okay, once that's done, and you can see it's already starting to curd, just kind of shake off the spoon what you can get. You want to put a lid on it, and I'm going to set this aside until I can feel the sides of the pan, and the sides of the pan are cool. Okay, so once the pan has cooled enough that you can touch it without getting burnt, you're going to take the lid off, and don't know how well you can see this, but it's going to look like this. It's going to look curdled. And so this is what you're going to have. And we're going to pour it into this cheesecloth lined strainer. Now, as you can see, I have another stainless steel pan. I have a stainless steel strainer because that's what I like. I think it helps keep the milk from getting a contaminated taste, because as you know, plastic will take on taste sometimes. And this is just cheesecloth, and I've doubled it over. I'm going to lay it there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up this pan, and I'm going to pour it very slowly into the strainer. And there went a clump of cheese. And you can hear it draining there. If you're wondering what these are some homemade crackers that we made. And this here is some Italian seasoning, some ground bell peppers, and some garlic. And that is ground pink Himalayan sea salt. And we're going to use all of those to spice the cheese with. You can use whatever you like. Dill and garlic is really good as well. Okay, and then I'm going to add the rest of this milk, or at least as much as I can put in. Depending on the temperature of your house, and look at that. I don't know if you can see that, but those are all cheese curds. Depending on the temperature of your house, it can take up to 2 hours for the milk to drain off. You don't want to rush this process, okay? It's very important that all of the milk come off the cheese. Actually, what's coming off is known as whey. And if you have livestock, chickens, pigs, anything like that, they will eat this whey and absolutely love it. If you have cats, you can give some of it to them. Okay, so once all of your milk has drained off, you're going to have something that looks kind of like this. You can see how chunky that is. Okay, and so what you're going to do is you're going to take this down here like this and just put it into a bowl. And it's just kind of going to roll off. As I said, if you go over 125 degrees when you're heating your milk up, it's going to be a little drier than this. If you stay right at 125 degrees, it's going to look like this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt the cheese. If you get the temperature too high, it's going to kind of caramelize. And again, if you like cheese like that, that's fine. This is all about experimenting and finding out what you like and what you can make. And don't be afraid to do that. I think that's why a lot of people don't want to go in the kitchen and cook, because they're afraid of making mistakes. And let's face it, if you can't eat it, you can always give it to animals, especially if you have livestock. And it's a lesson that you've learned. You know what you did, you know what not to do next time. This is pink Himalayan sea salt that I've ground. And you want to put a little bit of salt on the cheese. This is to flavor it and to act as a preservative. Both sugar and salt are natural preservatives. Okay. And then I have some other spices. These are ground bell peppers that I grew and dehydrated. I'm going to put a little bit of that on there. I'm going to put a little bit of garlic in there. And I'm going to put a little bit of Italian seasoning in there. And again, these are all things you can grow in your garden. You don't have to go out and buy these, but if you didn't grow them, you can. And you're just going to mix this up like this. Just going to stir it in, get it mixed in good. Okay. And there's no set measurements on this. You want to start with just a little bit and find out what you like. I can tell from looking that this is not seasoned enough to suit me, so I'm going to add a little bit more in. Maybe just a pinch more salt. You don't want to get too much salt. Okay, and you're just going to stir it up like this. You don't have to press this. You can eat it right away. This is really good on top of lasagna for the cheese. You can do anything with this that you can do with regular cheese. You put it in your refrigerator and you can eat it for up to a week, maybe longer. As long as it smells good and it looks good, you're good to go. And that's all there is to it, folks. And this is what your cheese dip is going to look like when you're done.